The year was 1945. World War II raged across the globe. Deep in the New Mexico desert, a secret project was underway. The Manhattan Project, a culmination of scientific brilliance and military might, was about to change the world forever. On July 16, 1945 at 5:29 a.m., the world's first atomic bomb was detonated at the Trinity Test Site. The desert sands became a crucible, and the dawn ushered in the atomic age. But this momentous event, a testament to human ingenuity, cast a long shadow over the local populace. The test site, chosen for its remoteness, was not entirely uninhabited. Ranchers, farmers, and generations of families called the Tularosa Basin home. The lives of these unsuspecting New Mexicans would be forever altered by the events of that day. The blinding flash, the thunderous roar, and the mushroom cloud that climbed miles into the sky marked not just a scientific breakthrough but the beginning of a decades-long struggle for recognition, justice, and healing. The Tularosa Basin, a vast expanse of desert and scrubland, was sparsely populated. Small towns dotted the landscape, their inhabitants eking out a living from the land. Life was hard, but it was their life, steeped in generations of tradition and connection to the land. The people of the Tularosa Basin were used to the solitude, the vastness of the sky, and the quiet rhythm of nature. The arrival of the Manhattan Project brought an influx of strangers and activity to the region. Military personnel and scientists descended upon the area, their purpose shrouded in secrecy. Rumors spread through the small towns, whispers of a powerful weapon, but few knew the true nature of the project taking shape in their backyard. The residents of the Tularosa Basin, unaware of the danger lurking just miles away, continued their lives tending to their farms, raising their families, and living in harmony with the land that had sustained their ancestors for generations. On the morning of July 16th, the desert sky erupted in a blinding flash of light. The earth trembled with a force that defied description. A shockwave raced outward from the Trinity Test Site, knocking down walls, shattering windows, and sending a ripple of fear through the hearts of those who witnessed it. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the sound of falling debris and the murmur of the wind. The air grew hot, thick with an acrid metallic smell. A strange multicolored cloud rose into the sky, a grotesque parody of a sunrise. For the residents of the Tularosa Basin, it was like the end of the world. Many, caught in the open, were blinded by the flash, their skins seared by the intense heat. Others, seeking shelter in their homes, felt their houses shake and groan under the force of the blast. In that moment, their lives were irrevocably changed. The world they knew, the world of quiet desert nights and familiar routines, was gone, replaced by the chilling reality of the atomic age. In the aftermath of the Trinity Test, a blanket of secrecy descended upon the Tularosa Basin. The government, eager to control the narrative surrounding the new weapon, downplayed the impact of the explosion. Residents were told it was an ammunition explosion, a harmless accident. They were instructed to stay silent, to not speak of what they had seen or heard. Fear and uncertainty gripped the region. Many were afraid to speak out, fearing government reprisals. Others, suffering from strange illnesses, were left to wonder about the true cause of their ailments. The government, meanwhile, conducted secret studies, collecting data on the effects of the explosion on the local population. The people of the Tularosa Basin, once connected by their shared history and the land they called home, were now united by a shared trauma, a secret that cast a long shadow over their lives. The truth, like the radioactive fallout that blanketed their land, was a hidden danger, its full impact yet to be understood. Section 5. A Legacy of Suffering. In the years following the Trinity Test, a disturbing pattern emerged in the Tularosa Basin. Rates of cancer, particularly rare forms of the disease, skyrocketed. Children were born with birth defects. Generations suffered from a litany of health problems, from thyroid disease to autoimmune disorders. The physical health of the residents was not the only casualty. The psychological toll was immense. Many, haunted by the memories of that day, struggled with PTSD and anxiety. The social fabric of the community, already strained by the secrecy and fear, began to fray. Despite the growing body of evidence, the government remained largely silent. The plight of the Tularosa Basin Downwinders, the forgotten victims of the atomic age, went largely ignored. Their sacrifice, their suffering, remained a footnote in the grand narrative of the Cold War. Section 6. Denied justice. Decades passed, and still, the people of the Tularosa Basin fought for recognition and compensation. Their claims for radiation exposure were repeatedly denied, their pleas for help falling on deaf ears. The government, citing national security concerns, refused to acknowledge the full extent of the damage caused by the Trinity Test. The Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, passed in 1990, provided some measure of justice for downwinders in other parts of the country. However, the arbitrary boundaries drawn by the government excluded the Tularosa Basin downwinders from compensation. This injustice, a cruel twist of fate, only fueled their determination to fight for their rightful place in history and to seek redress for the wrongs inflicted upon them. Section 7. Voices from the dust. In the face of government indifference, the people of the Tularosa Basin refused to be silenced. They formed organizations such as the Tularosa Basin Downwinders Consortium to raise awareness about their plight and to advocate for their rights. Their stories, once buried under layers of secrecy and denial, began to emerge, painting a stark picture of the human cost of the atomic bomb. Through their tireless efforts, the Tularosa Basin Downwinders have ensured that their history is not forgotten. They have challenged the government's narrative, demanding accountability and justice. Their struggle is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a beacon of hope in the face of adversity. Section 8. A call for recognition and recourse. The story of the Tularosa Basin Downwinders is a stark reminder that the pursuit of scientific progress cannot come at the expense of human life. It is a call to action, urging us to acknowledge the past, to right the wrongs inflicted upon the innocent, and to prevent such tragedies from happening again. The fight for justice for the Tularosa Basin Downwinders continues. They deserve to be included in the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, to receive the same compensation and recognition afforded to other downwind communities. Their story is a reminder that the true cost of the atomic bomb is not measured in dollars or megatons, but in the lives shattered and the communities forever scarred by its legacy. It is time for the government to acknowledge their suffering, to offer meaningful support, and to ensure that the sacrifices made in the name of national security are never forgotten.